Hello, St. Paul's. As you know, we began a listening process last spring to hear from all of you about some ideas for expanding our ministries of music and outreach. We hired consultants to guide the process, and in July they presented us with their report. The next step in this process will be to determine the capacity of the congregation to finance one or more of the proposed projects. That exercise is on hold for now. But in the meantime, I don't want you to forget about the exciting possibilities that you all discussed and got excited about. It can be hard to get enthusiastic about an idea. We need something concrete. So our architects are working on a master plan that will encompass all the aspects of the ministry expansion project. Meanwhile, several of you have expressed a desire to see the spaces where the outreach and music centres will live, and I plan to offer a tour later this fall, so watch for a notice coming about that soon. The dream is to maximise the potential of our cathedral campus for the key ministries of outreach and music, as well as providing what our children and young families need in order to form the next generation of Christians. For today's message, I want to focus on the Outreach Centre. And here's the background. For several years before the pandemic, we offered monthly showers to our unsheltered neighbours, many of whom live close to St. Paul's in Balboa Park. We borrowed the diocese's portable shower trailer. We offered a cooked breakfast thanks to our Methodist friends. We provided free toiletries and clothing, and spent a Saturday morning serving and befriending up to 100 or even more of those who often feel friendless and unwanted. Dozens of cathedral members and others gave their time and their talent to make St. Paul's a welcoming space for a few hours each month. We were known as a place where you weren't made to feel unwelcome just because you lived outside. Twice a year, we used to collaborate with the Interfaith Shelter Network to offer a few families overnight shelter and a meal for 2 weeks, converting our guild room into a dormitory for that period. It wasn't easy or convenient to set up and staff these ministries, but this congregation is passionate about serving our less fortunate neighbours, and we were glad to do it. The pandemic forced us to shut down Showers of Blessings, of course, and the construction project has temporarily taken away the space we used for the shelter. And it's been a source of heartache for many of us that we haven't been able to serve in the same way that we did before. But in the midst of the isolation and the frustration of the past year and a half, a new dream took hold. We started to imagine a permanent space for these ministries. And the Chapel Undercroft seemed like the right location for such a space, even though it's complicated by multiple levels and it's currently not fully accessible. A group of parishioners started to work with an architect, a former parishioner who gave generously of his time pro bono from his home in another state. They designed a multi-purpose space where we could offer showers and overnight shelter and other services, not only to our unsheltered neighbours, but also potentially to house mission groups visiting from other places, to work with homeless people, immigrants, asylum seekers and refugees. It took many months and several iterations to get to a point where the design included everything on the wish list. But we finally arrived at a point where we could hand that initial design over to our local architects so that they can determine how best to merge it with the realities of old construction materials, 15-inch thick concrete walls, existing ductwork and security concerns, as well as the changes brought about by the 525 Olive construction project. Here's what we hope the Outreach Centre will offer: a fully accessible space, secure from the rest of the cathedral campus, with permanent showers and laundry facilities, with rooms where cots can be set up for overnight guests, whether they're with the Interfaith Shelter Network or park denizens seeking shelter from winter storms, or mission groups from other churches. A space where a case manager from one of the city's agencies can hold clinics on a regular basis. And lots of storage for the bed linens, cots, clothing, towels, and other essential supplies. If we can achieve all this, we will be well equipped to do what the Church is called to do: offer non-judgmental hospitality and dignity to our less fortunate neighbours, seeking and serving Christ in each one of them. We've had conversations with representatives from the city and from local agencies to ensure that our plans will provide a needed service, complementary to other services already available. And while our ministry will be addressing the symptoms and not the causes of homelessness, we plan to continue to advocate for more affordable housing and better governmental strategies to address the root causes of mental illness, addiction, and homelessness, in the hope that someday what we offer might be actually obsolete. But that day is very far off, as we all know. You'll be hearing a lot more about this project in the new year, once the annual pledge campaign is behind us and we can focus on moving our administrative ministry into our new space, which will then create a domino effect where other ministries can then move into redeveloped spaces once we have the funds in hand. It's an audacious dream, but one worth holding on to and making a reality. I hope that you will work, pray, and give for its success.